with another episode of So What Success Stories. And I am super excited about my interview today with my friends, Ashley Bradshaw Daniel. Now, I met Ashley in college 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago. But I must say, she looks exactly the same. We haven't aged. The only thing that has changed, or the biggest thing that has changed, is she's multiplied 5 times over. And so Ashley is a professional mom, and she is a super mom to 5 incredible children. And she has a beautiful, beautiful, amazing story. And she's one super strong woman. So I can't wait to tell her story. Ashley, tell us just a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you, Summer. That was an awful sweet introduction. I graduated, went to the University of Memphis and graduated with my degree as in special education. It was loved being at the university. We were very involved together in quite a few different organizations, which I think really formed so much of my life experiences that prepared me for the future. As I began my career in teaching in Memphis, I loved working as a teacher, working with children with special needs, and it's really pretty amazing to think of how God really prepared my life for my future with that, and the incredible education I got to be able to be a teacher. Little did I know I would be a mother of five, and that would be my career, my professional career, which is very consuming from a day-to-day standpoint. So married to a fellow University of Memphis graduate as well.
And a
Um,
friend of mine
yeah,
too.
yeah, one of Summer's really good buddies, and he got his undergrad and graduate degree from Memphis as well. So we have quite a good upbringing and background from there.
Well, let's get into these questions. I'm so excited. Ashley, I didn't even realize you taught in Memphis for a while. And so it's really cool. I like what you said. It did prepare you for your life. So let's get into that. So in this program, I have what I call the So What Success System. And that's learning how to overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses, and calculate choices to achieve so what success. And that's success no matter what challenges you face in life. And so Ashley, without you realizing it, you have been following the So What Success System because you've handled all those things beautifully to deal with a lot of the challenges that you've had in your life and create success for you and Zach and your family. So let me get into the questions. My first question for you is, talk to us a little bit about some of the obstacles you've had to overcome and just how you've overcome those obstacles so that you could be successful.
Well, to add to our background, we have had two children that have been born with congenital heart defects. The second child was born with a congenital heart defect and had a heart surgery, and has been followed very closely by cardiology. And then continue on to our fifth child, and his congenital heart defect was much more severe in nature and has had 4 open heart surgeries, and then ended up going into heart failure and had a heart transplant. So, to summarize what I could pick as some of the biggest challenges we faced, I'd say those are pretty up there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that pretty much sums up everything. But so through that, we really had to learn and use our experiences that we, had gone through in life on how to get through those hard times. And some of the things that Zach and I, as a family, some of our challenges, um, just we had to face were how to stay positive, how to look to the goal long term versus just moment to moment. Um, and it's very interesting. We match well because our personalities are very different. I tend to be a glass half full. He's a glass always, excuse me, I'm glass half empty. He's glass half full. And so, that teamwork, it works well together.
Sure.
And that's kind of maybe a little embarrassing to say that about myself, but I guess we all can't be exactly the same.
Exactly.
It work well. Like we there's just so much that we built upon to get through some of the challenges. I think about resiliency And I think when I think of that a definition, I think of like a rubber band, something that can, be stretched out over and over, day in, day out, but somehow has to get back. And, the best thing, the hardest thing, but the best thing we had was the other children at home. They kept us grounded, they kept us sort of distracted, and they kept our focus. And we knew we always, no matter where we were at day to day, we had to get back from a mental standpoint, from a focus. We had to be resilient and get back for those children. So that's what we did. We tried to keep them focused on what they had to do from a day to day and keep everything just as normal as we could in spite of the situation.
Right. Well, I've been following your journey. And I got a chance to meet all your children, especially your sweet baby, who's gone through more than a lot of people can ever imagine. And he will have an amazing testimony to share, or he already does. But as he gets older and more able to share it, he will have an amazing testimony to share. Being a parent is hard enough. I'm a parent of one. So being a parent is hard enough. So I can't even imagine how hard it is being a parent of so many children, but then children who need extra care. And so I applaud you. And I guess I can only imagine how challenging that is, but you did it, or you're constantly doing it. And I'm super honored to be your friend and watch you go through and still smile. And Zack too, because I'm watching him and I know he's a critical part of the equation. So the second part of the SOA success system, though, is learning how to eliminate excuses, because we have those obstacles and you have to learn how to overcome those obstacles, but we all can make excuses for why we don't push on and go forward and still make things happen in our lives. Tell me about some of the excuses that you maybe have had to overcome or that you've used, but how you've gotten through those excuses so you could move forward and stay positive.
As you were just saying a second ago, the first thing that came to my mind was it's there's just the ability to say I can't, or I don't want to, or any of those. It's just not even an option. I mean, it's your child, period. There's nothing that anything could do. There's no excuse under the sun that's even fathomable. So I guess that's part of our nature, is in our family.
Sure.
We do not, excuses are not even an option. It's not
Not
even
even an
possible.
option. Yeah.
And I think that when you have that mindset, and when people give even an inch to themselves and think, oh, I'll just, whatever it might be, then you're just you're opening that door that just don't even go there. Just literally, you cannot even allow that in at all.
And I think that's good advice, Ashley. And I think about even with my so what mindset, it's the same kind of thing. It's just as soon as that challenge happens or the trauma happens, you immediately fix your mind and say, so what? So don't even allow your mind to start feeling sorry for yourself and wondering why me. It's just like, no, I just got to deal with it and move forward and figure it out. And so I definitely agree with what you said. Well, the third part of it, of the SOA success system, is calculating choices. And so you guys have definitely had to make a lot of choices, right? And a lot of tough choices. Tell me about some of the choices that you've made and how you made those choices.
Well, just to make it more recent in some of the choices we've made, is how to keep the youngest son healthy when, in spite of having multiple other children that have needs as well. When you've got a child that's severely immune suppressed, and we've got a pandemic going on, like, how do you balance this? Other one child's education needs versus another child's health. That has been a tremendous challenge that day to day right now we're still trying to balance and find the right approach. It's hard to say that there's a right and a wrong answer to most of these questions or decisions that you make as a parent, or whether in a job, career, whatever that is. And sometimes what we've found is again, to really do a lot of research, we ask a lot of questions, and we do a lot of praying. Um, and then you kind of have to make a decision and be all in. and be, 100% ready to give all that you've got to make that work. Um, you know, with the schooling, we had to make a decision of sending the older children because they take advanced placement classes and, about to go off to college and how, that sort of thing. And they were home for a lot of the time, and then we kept the younger two at home to do in-person school. I mean, excuse me,
Virtual, I got you.
so that was, a very, very tough decision that honestly was even very hard on me as a mom. Like I'm
Absolutely.
and one has a lot of special needs and has to be taught uniquely. Again, that kind of circles back to where my background, I was blessed with the ability to do that. So I do think in all of these situations, we think you might be in the brink of something that is so challenging and you just can't see how you're going to get to the other side, but you will. And, there will be a path that's been kind of paved out along the way to get you through it. You just have to have the right attitude and just be willing to do it and do it.
And
No,
I like that, Ashley. And like you said too, call on your experiences. So you were perfectly set up for where you are right now. As challenges it may be, you never saw that in college, right? As an education major and as a teacher, that you would be using those skills so much, right?
and it is very different with your own child. I will,
Yeah,
but
I know. I can
I have
only imagine.
thankfully, I have the background and the ability to do it. So
I think, and I applaud you for that too.
we
Oh, I'm
may
sorry.
so it may not be our choice or something that we would choose. I might, there's many other things I could say today. Maybe I'd say I wish I could be doing, but maybe I would be doing.
Sure.
And it's easy to go there sometimes and say, would I be doing some, but you know what, that's okay, that's not my time and a place right now. There
And
will
I
be.
appreciate you being so open and honest about that, because that is the reality of life, right? Is that the situations that we're in, um, it may not be what we want, but we make the best of it and we appreciate the beauty in it and even in the challenges in it. Um, and that's definitely, I mean, I can say that because even when I met you, I was a mom.
Right. Mhm.
And that definitely wouldn't have been a choice that I would have made, for my life and the challenges that I had in it. So I totally understand. And I applaud you too as a doing the virtual school thing. I've been doing it with my granddaughter.
Mhm.
Did not have the background as a teacher. It gave me so much more respect for educators.
Yes.
I think it did that for everybody. Hopefully, everybody got a lot more respect for educators, and it gave me a whole heart for parents that are doing this, and there are a whole lot of grandparents that are doing this that aren't even as tech savvy, and so it's just it's a whole other world. So yeah, and so it kind of even
It's like there's so many things that these children are in, whether people think their children are becoming, or whether they want to be resilient through this challenging time or not, they're getting through it. And it is resilience, and that's such an important skill to know and be able to. And that's what I keep saying about this whole past year, like, just stay positive, stay, like, whether you this is what you would choose, whether you
right.
keep, just stay positive, you'll get through it.
I love it. I love it. And I'm all about resilience, and exactly what you said is stay positive and look for the lessons, what all we're learning out of this, because if we're still here, that means we made it and we're making it, and we can stay positive. So let me ask you this question. I just had two more questions for you. But this is great. And I feel your heart through this, and I applaud your strength. I really applaud your strength. So I said this, it's a success system. So what success system? Overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses, and calculate choices. And to me, if you're able to do those things, then you will achieve what I call so what success. And that's success in spite of any obstacles that you face. And you've definitely done that, Ashley. But I want to ask you this question. How do you personally define success?
Well, guess as a mom now, that's like my day-to-day focus. And my success I see through the eyes of my children.
Mm.
So are they good, decent, loyal human beings? And that is where my success lies. It's not so much in me, myself, but what have I done to raise my family?
Yeah.
Um, and that's where my focus is. So, if I can have children that know and love the Lord and feel confident in themselves, that is definitely success in my boat.
I
Uh,
love it.
we pride our family on being joyful, like finding the joy in everything that you do, not always seeing like the grass is greener somewhere else, or, you know, that sort of personality, but knowing what you've been blessed with, and be grateful for that. And that's just very important qualities that we try to instill. So that to me is success.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And just in my a little bit of time I've spent with your children, with your family, I've seen that, and the joy, the word joy that you use, I definitely see it and I can feel it. Um, and you've been successful. You have been successful. And so, okay, here's my last question for you. Actually, you've been through, you guys have dealt with a lot of challenges. Um, you've dealt with a lot of challenges and you've overcome a lot of obstacles, and you've still been a beautiful, joyful family. Um, and I know that you are still defining success, in the way that you've said it. And I'm sure, and as we grow, we even change our definition of success, right? Because you said you have children going off to college and all the different stages of life. I know. It's just, I mean, even as I'm looking at you, I'm like, we were kids. We were kids together. We were college kids together. And now we're talking about this real grown up stuff and have been through a lot of real grown up stuff. But what advice, and you've given a lot already, but what additional advice would you give to someone who may be going through some challenges, and they want to be successful, whether that's successful personally or professionally, and it's however they define success, but they're dealing with some challenges that may have them discouraged? What advice would you give?
My advice would be to just get through the moments, get through one moment, and then there's the next. Get through that moment. You will keep going. Uh, and find your community. That is so important. Whether it's, friends from long ago or your next door neighbors, you will get through it if you have the support. Sometimes it's hard to do it all yourself, and I think a lot of times people think that it's all, whether it's their challenge, it's all on them, and that's what, we have other people in our lives, whether it's, a partner or just an acquaintance, and rely on that. Let others help you get through. Don't try to do it yourself.
I love it. I love it. Well, Ashley, wish we could have more time. And now, you know what? I just got to make another little road trip and come see you and the family when COVID clears. But I thank you so much for sharing your story with us, and with me, and getting caught up with you. I really appreciate you, Ashley.
Thank you, Summer. You're doing amazing things.
I appreciate that.